We're riding the country's longest rail trail, Missouri's 240-mile Katy Trail State Park, using cross-state, bike-friendly, twice-daily Amtrak service to support shorter, laid-back segments. See our series intro video for background on using bikes with Amtrak, and our parallel series for an emphasis on trailside natural features. In part 1 of this series, we're discussing the logistics of riding the 77-mile segment from Jefferson City to Augusta, using parallel Amtrak service to complete a loop. This is a good segment to start with, as it has an easy, low-gradient route down the Missouri River Valley, much smoother than the hillier trail segments farther west. Another advantage of this segment is that the trail and Amtrak route parallel each other closely throughout its extent, running just a few miles apart on either side of the valley. There are only 3 bridges across the Missouri River in this segment, and there's an Amtrak station near each one, at Jefferson City, Washington, and Herman, allowing several possible loop rides. We opted to ride downhill, starting at the North Jefferson Trailhead, riding 2 days to Augusta with an overnight halfway along, and rewarding ourselves with a relatively leisurely third day that included an afternoon train ride back with shorter rides at either end. By the way, if you're going to leave a vehicle overnight in a trailhead parking lot, the state park requests that you notify them by phone. Whatever loop you decide to ride, you'll need to cross the valley and river twice, and each of the 3 crossings is different. At Jefferson City, this involves riding about 3 miles between the North Jefferson Trailhead and the historic riverfront district hosting the Amtrak stop. This route follows a dedicated spur trail and low-traffic roads from the trailhead to the river bridge, a separate bike lane across that bridge, and a designated on-road bike route past the state capitol. Keep in mind that while the trail itself is pretty level, this connecting route has a couple good-sized hills on the Jefferson City side, as well as the ramp used to access the river bridge. Crossing the valley to Washington involves 2 less than ideal choices. You can ride about 3 miles along the shoulder of highways 94 and 47, though heavy high-speed traffic and occasional debris along the shoulders makes this especially unappealing to us. We chose to use Augusta Bottom Road, though this also comes with challenges. The western 2 miles of this road is gravel and can be very rough and dusty, especially when drivers don't care about cyclists trying not to choke. And there's more traffic than you might expect for such a small road. Both routes cross the Missouri River on the Highway 47 bridge, which does have a separated bike lane with a safe trail crossing under the highway at the north end. On the Washington side, it's a reasonable ride along wide, relatively quiet city streets to reach the riverfront Amtrak station. The Herman crossing also requires highway riding, in this case 1 1/3 miles along a wide shoulder with no separated bike lane, a bridge crossing that does have a separate lane, and then a short ride through the historic town to reach the Amtrak station. We opted to bypass Herman this time, but its abundant lodging, dining, and other attractions make it a worthy stop to consider. Riding the full segment at a relaxed pace requires stopping for the first night somewhere, and there are 2 options near the halfway point. You can leave the trail and cross the river valley to Herman, or stop trailside at the Dollhouse B&B in Rhineland. Rhineland has no other nearby services, but we weren't interested in braving the highway and preferred the simpler option. We were very pleased with the Dollhouse's quiet setting, friendly cat and hosts, diverse and hearty breakfasts, and trailside convenience. For the second night, we could have dropped down into Washington, but our goal was to stay on the trail, and the historic town of Augusta made a great stopping point. There are multiple lodging and dining options here, and we were thrilled with our choice of the Lindenhof B&B, enjoying our host's company and conversation, as well as her emphasis on books, plants, and good food. Augusta is also home to multiple wineries, and a wine tasting is a nice way to relax after a day's ride. On the 3rd day, you can enjoy highlights of Washington and/or Jefferson City, depending on your schedule. Washington features an expansive riverfront park, a great place to relax and watch freight trains while waiting for your passenger train to arrive at the historic depot with its restored caboose. If you have time, explore the town's 4 miles of paved river bottom trails, a noticeably smoother ride after 77 miles of gravel trail. These wind through beautiful forests interspersed with wetlands and other ecosystem restoration projects. Jefferson City's Amtrak stop places you right in Jefferson Landing, a historic riverfront district dating back to the 1830s. A short distance uphill is the state capitol, perched on a bluff overlooking the Missouri River Valley. As for food on this segment, other than hearty breakfasts at our B&Bs, we opted to rely on simple homemade and homegrown meals, kept cool in a small soft-sided cooler that fit in one side of our panniers. This kept our costs down while letting us eat whenever and wherever we wanted. Riding this segment as a bike rail loop really enhances the experience. After several days on the trail, it's nice to kick back and watch scenery go by as you're whisked back to your starting point. Stay tuned to this series as we share tips for other segments, each of which has unique logistics, and be sure to check out our parallel series on Trailside Natural History.